Okay, now this is what I call a movie. Wait, no. This is a movie. No, actually, I take that back, because this right here is pure cinema. When I was younger, I used to watch cutscenes like these over and over again, imagining what a real Super Mario movie could be like. Or a real animated Super Mario movie. But what I didn't know at the time was that for as cool as this is, and as funny as this is, and as downright epic as this is, making a movie is a whole different ballgame. We're talking about a 90-page hero's journey arc with a 3-act structure. That's no cutscene. So when the Super Mario Bros. Movie from Nintendo and Illumination was announced, my childhood self was ecstatic, but my today self was cautiously optimistic. Mario games aren't known for their stories, and to be fair, that has never been a concern. In fact, the accessibility of his games has only helped him reach such a large audience and earn his iconic status over 35 years. But Nintendo and Illumination will have to put in the work if they want to take something so thin in its original form and find depth that doesn't compromise what generations of fans love, but also feels organic to the iconography and can support a 3-act structure. Thankfully, they know this, as that was practically a word-for-word quote from the film's producer himself, Chris Meledandri. So now that the shock factor of the recent casting news has somewhat worn off, I've been wondering, how do you tell an engaging Mario story that accomplishes all of those things? Or more generally, what the heck is the story gonna be? After examining what little, and I mean little, we know about the plot, I want to make the case for why the upcoming Super Mario movie might just be our first true, detailed, canonical Super Mario origin story. And no, not some halfway origin story but not quite like Black Widow. I'm talking full-on Shang-Chi, an origin story that shows us all the details of how the Mario Brothers became the Super Mario Brothers, so to speak. But of course, an origin story is obvious, right? I mean, what better way to introduce Mario to the big screen? Well, history has shown us that movies with well-known characters don't necessarily need to show their origins. Look at Spider-Man, one of the most well-known superheroes of all time. In 2016, Marvel Studios wanted to establish a new version of Peter Parker, but they knew an origin story would have been a waste. Why? Because everyone knows his story already. So the next solo Spider-Man movie was Homecoming, a new take on Spidey that still worked as an introduction, but didn't feel the need to show where he came from. Alright, enough Spider-Man, this is Mario time. The Super Mario movie could very well take a similar approach. Instead of an origin story, present a classic, timeless story about Mario stopping Bowser, stretched out of course with enough twists and turns to fit a 90-minute runtime. It could be that simple, but something tells me Nintendo and Illumination won't take such a simple route. Unlike Spider-Man, people don't know Mario's story. Sure, they know he can run, jump, and yell wahoo, but his actual origins are less clear. There is of course the introduction to Yoshi's Island, where a stork accidentally drops baby Mario from the sky and he is saved by the Yoshis. But that seemingly contradicted the original story of the Mario Bros. Arcade game following Mario and Luigi as they went to investigate monster sightings in the sewers of Brooklyn, New York, which was reflected a lot in media at the time, such as the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and other books and graphic novels. And yep, even the original movie. But this new animated movie could finally be the one to show us Mario's true, definitive origin story, whether it connects all these pieces or not. And that is exactly why this would be such a risk. A definitive origin story would forever change how mainstream audiences think about the Mario universe as a whole. Sure, the 1993 movie was an origin story too, and we all saw how that turned out. But Mario wasn't nearly as much of an icon back then, and Nintendo wasn't even involved in that film from a creative standpoint. It was barely even recognizably Mario. This is an animated movie starring Mario looking presumably like how he actually looks in the games, for kids and families. Everyone is going to see this movie. So why do I think they'll do it? Because an origin story would be so bold, so scary, and yet so perfect, almost as bold, scary, and perfect as Jack Black playing Bowser, that it might just work. Seriously, just look at this cast. Do you think they're playing it safe with this movie? And on a different note, it's also worth considering the ongoing success of the Despicable Me franchise. I am willing to bet Nintendo and Illumination will make more of these movies if the first one is a success. Wouldn't an origin story be the perfect place to start? While it's fun to speculate, there's also some real evidence that could potentially support this idea, even if it might not be much. In early August, actor Sebastian Maniscalco appeared on an episode of the Bertcast, and mentioned that he'll be voicing a character in the Super Mario Bros. Movie called Spike.
I'm in the movie Super Mario Brothers, an animated movie. So I'm playing Spike.
Now, at the time, we weren't sure which Spike he was referring to, but he mentioned that this character was Mario and Luigi's boss.
Their boss?
Which led us to believe that Foreman Spike would make a return from Wrecking Crew. Thanks to this little icon down here, we now know for sure that Foreman Spike is making a comeback, and that they aren't just making the new Spike Mario's boss. Sorry, new Spike. In Wrecking Crew, Foreman Spike was Mario and Luigi's boss at a demolition site, and he would often try and hinder the Mario brothers from doing their job. If there was any sort of Mario timeline, Wrecking Crew would probably be near the top, as it was originally released in 1984 and featured the Mario brothers in a setting perhaps most similar to that of the original Donkey Kong. Could the upcoming animated movie start with Mario and Luigi in their ordinary world working at this demolition site, perhaps frustrated by Foreman Spike's ridiculous ways, before getting the call to do something greater with their lives and save the world? That sounds like a solid start for a hero's journey tale to me. Now there's also one other confirmed character who might hint toward Mario's Brooklyn origins playing a part. Of course, Donkey Kong is here, which is a pleasant surprise, but so is Cranky Kong, who was the OG DK that appeared in the first Donkey Kong arcade game. While Cranky might have a small role and just be here for laughs, especially with Fred Armisen attached to voice him, could his role involve Mario's lore in some way? Could we even see Cranky Kong in action back in the days of Jumpman? Well, there is an elephant in the room, which is that Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong existing alongside each other in the movie would suggest that this is taking place in quote-unquote the current day. And Cranky will likely be his usual old and, well, cranky self. So we likely won't see him looking like this tossing barrels down at Jumpman. The solution to this would either have to be a time jump, or perhaps flashbacks, maybe with Cranky even telling the story himself. Now that could be good. But this all begs the question, would these events take place in Brooklyn here on Earth, before the Mario brothers are teleported by a bathtub drainage pipe into the Mushroom Kingdom? Or would the movie have these events take place somewhere within Mario's world already? If so, I have the perfect contender, New Donk City, which might actually be the key to unifying Mario's origins. What if the events of Mario Brothers, Wrecking Crew, and Donkey Kong all took place in the Metro Kingdom, replacing the Brooklyn setting and thus eliminating the complications of an alternate universe? Which would probably be how they have to do it, because as far as we know, there's no Brooklyn in the Metro Kingdom. That would make it a whole lot easier for the events of Yoshi's Island and possibly other aspects of Mario's history to coexist within one definitive origin story, as now it all would have at least happened on the same planet. But then again, there's the fact that Miyamoto considers the Mario cast actors themselves. So maybe we've been thinking about it all wrong and the movie will actually follow the Mario Bros acting careers. Okay, definitely joking, but now I'm kinda hoping for some Mario Power Tennis style outtakes. The upcoming Mario movie still has a lot to prove, but if the recent casting announcement is any indication, Nintendo and Illumination are taking some big swings with this film, and I'm all here for it. As it stands with how little we know about the plot, the origin story route might be the most likely explanation for where the plot will go, but there's no way to know for sure until we get more details. While I'm not expecting the deepest story, I am really looking forward to seeing the characters of the Mushroom Kingdom brought to life like never before. And my fingers are crossed that the story will surprise me with genuine character development and heartfelt moments, just like other great animated movies before it, such as the Lego Movie and the first Despicable Me. But what about you? What do you hope to see from the story of the animated Super Mario Bros. Movie? Let us know down below and subscribe to GameXplain for more on the Mario movie and other things Nintendo too. Check out the videos on the right for more content you might be interested in, and until next time, bye!